Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Sorry, Anna.
Yes, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you brilliantly.
Excellent.
Okay.
What's that?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anna's Trip Report, episode 4. If you're watching this in the recordings, then you've probably watched episodes 1 through 3, so we could probably dispense with most of the introductions. And looking at the people in the chat, I think most of them know what's going on as well. So,
Yes.
this episode is about the Bay Area. And finally, my background makes sense. So
Yes.
that's good. So, who did you stay with in the Bay Area?
I stayed with the O's in the Bay Area.
Yeah, the O's.
They're fantastic. And it was...
For those who don't know, that's Chris and John O'Halloran.
yes,
I suppose
sorry.
not everyone knows who the O's are. I was
Chris
like,
and
yeah,
Joe
the O's,
O'Halloran.
obviously.
Yeah, sorry. Chris and Joe O'Halloran. And it was... they were so welcoming, and it was so... I mean, obviously everywhere I stayed was wonderful, and everyone was so welcoming. But I think because, like, Chris took some time to take me out to places and do some other things, and I don't know, something about it just felt particularly comfortable and welcoming.
Had you met the O's prior to staying with them?
I had not met the O's before staying with them, but very quickly felt like I knew them.
That's fair. That's good.
Yeah,
and they are
very sweet.
They're that kind of fans, I think. Like very approachable people.
Yeah, very much so.
So you also hung out a lot, I think, with your brother Gavin when you're in the Bay Area.
I did, yes. So he lives in the Bay Area still, currently in Oakland area. So it was particularly nice. I basically told him, you're just coming out with me. Like every day I'm there, and we're gonna go out and we're gonna do stuff, and it meant that, like, all the different trips that I did during that time, I got to spend more time with him, and that was just really lovely, because we don't see each other that much. Weirdly, because of the lockdown, we're now having weekly family Zoom catch-ups. So I'm actually talking to him more than I have in a while because of everyone being back in Gators.
Yeah, no, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's my little brother, and even if he's a stepbrother and has only been in my life for 15 years or whatever it's been, like, we told him as soon as we knew what was going on between our parents, I was like, okay, no matter what happens, you're our brother now, and that's just it. So part of the big sisterly duties are I need to make sure he is fed and clothed and give him presents and look after him.
That's fair. That's really good. I like that.
So yes.
And because I remember meeting him, I think at Instacon in 2010, 2008.
Yep. Yeah.
So did he live in the UK at that point and then move out there, or?
Oh yeah. So after our parents met, whenever it was, I should remember the date. 2004, I think it was, or 2003. By the end of that year, he and Gwen, my stepmother, had moved over here to the UK, and Dad and Gwen had gotten married, and so he kind of was here from the age of Emily might correct me, but I think he was about 13 or so when we first met him. Okay. And I think at that convention he was about 16 or so, which was particular. I think that was the con where Neil Gaiman was the guest of honor.
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah, 2008. Neil Gaiman's guest of honor. He was, I believe, 16. He did the masquerade as generic elf number 5, because he had that really long hair back then. And I remember Emily telling me about a particularly weird moment of two older female fans talking about how beautiful generic elf number 5 is, maybe even more beautiful than Neil Gaiman, and her having to say it's like my 16-year-old brother. Maybe call it. But yeah, so he lived here until 2000. He moved away back over to the States in 2015, I think it was. So just before Dad died. But he was here for basically from most of that time. He lived over here. Basically, as soon as he'd sorted out British passport to have dual nationality, he decided to go back. But it does mean that he has the option to come back here if that's what he wants to do.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, and he, because he lives in the Bay Area, I guess it made a lot of sense to kind of hang out a lot with him while you were there.
Yeah, exactly.
Did that play into like why you decided to go to the Bay Area, or was it somewhere you'd always wanted to go, or somewhere that has a soft spot for you generally?
I think a bit of the first and the last. So the fact that going to the Bay Area would mean that I would get to see Gavin and actually spend some substantial amount of time with him. Obviously, in the previous talks, we mentioned how I had the opportunity to see some of my cousins for an afternoon, and that was really lovely. But the actually spending a few days with Gavin was kind of more important. But also one, don't even remember now when I had been to San Francisco before, and I felt very comfortable there.
Yeah.
I may have said this in one of the other episodes, I guess.
Yeah.
But growing up in London, there's something about a city that I find really comfortable. And I know a lot of people, I can understand why some people don't feel comfortable in cities or in unfamiliar cities. But because maybe growing up, we always went into central London and we would walk around and I'd get to know places. That kind of, I always felt very comfortable with that situation. And when I had previously been to San Francisco, I very much got that feeling as well. Like I understood how to get around. The public transport system, well, maybe not as extensive, like made sense to me because it's not that complicated. And I felt comfortable just walking around and seeing what was there and looking at stuff. So I think that was one of the, I wanted the opportunity to go again. I also, quite early on, I was like, I really want to go back to Monterey Bay because they had expanded they'd expanded their kind of cephalopod and squid area.
Excellent.
And,
I think we'll talk about that
in a moment. Yeah. But that was another kind of thing where it was like, this is one of the places that specifically I really want to go. So it kind of all worked well together.
Yeah.
And of course, having a good and kind of vibrant fan presence there means that it's another kind of positive place to go for the TAF element.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think it's, especially if you've got like a brother there, then that is a good way to guide you. But San Francisco generally is one of my favorite places in the world. So I think it makes a lot of sense anyway.
Same.
So you went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium on the first day. So was that something that the O's suggested to you, or was that something where you were like, please, can we go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium?
That was something where I was like, I want to go there. I want to go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Please, can we go? And it was excellent because Chris took us, and we also went with my friend Joey Shoji, who is someone, again, I know through years of fandom and filk fandom, and it was particularly lovely to see him because it's another person you don't see very often.
Yeah.
And so, Chris took the four of us, because we did take Gavin, out to Monterey Bay, and we went to the aquarium. It was amazing. If you haven't been to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and I will actually try not to just spend too much time talking about it, beyond the fact that it's one of the world's, well, no, not even beyond the fact, it is one of the world's best aquariums. And I mean, any good aquarium, part of the, and zoo, part of the ethos and part of the whole thing is that it's also working to, like, they're biologists and ecologists, yeah, and marine biologists, and it's there's a kind of element of research and science and conservation, and Monterey Bay, I think, is again in some ways one of the more famous ones for that. It up to and including the fact that I although I have not actually seen Finding Nemo 2, I believe that Monterey Bay Aquarium is the at the end there's the whole thing. It's Monterey Bay. I'm not sure if it actually says it, because again, this is through the grapevine more than actually being aware, having seen it myself. But anyway, so yes, it's also huge, and it is right on the bay. It's right on the ocean as well. So there's that kind of element of, there is the outside spaces where you can just look out onto the ocean and potentially see like porpoises or whales or anything like that, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
We went to the aquarium. I believe we arrived, we had to leave pretty early in the morning. And I think, yes, I especially wore my mermaid dress because, you know, got to keep the marine life there. And we arrived in time to see the otter feeding, which is so cool. Exactly.
This was amazing.
Yes, it is amazing. Also, I believe that they have a couple of different live streams going on because of the lockdown, and the otter enclosure is one of them. So if you feel the need to just watch otters, then just go onto the Monterey Bay Aquarium website and watch them, and it's amazing. I think they also have one of the jellyfish ones, and it's like literally the most calming thing you've ever seen.
That's excellent. I might have to look those up.
Yes, definitely do. It's one of those fabulous things to kind of have on in the background that just is really lovely. But one of the things that I particularly was excited about is they have, or at least they had at the time, a particularly large section dedicated to kind of cephalopods and jellyfish and squid and kind of tentacled monsters of the deep type animals, of which Excellent. I have an extreme soft spot. And so that was everything okay?
I've got one of your ribbons somewhere on my big collection of ribbons that says Cuttlefish, like cute Cthulhu.
Cthulhu, yeah.
Yes,
Cthulhu.
Here it is.
And I think I'd have another one that says narwhal plus, what is it? Something, yeah. There you go, Cuttlefish, like cute Cthulhu's. And there's a narwhal as well, something. Oh, unicorn plus mermaid equals narwhal.
Yes, which is a fantastic ribbon.
Yeah.
That's so true.
But yes, yeah. So, Cuttlefish, I was going to build up. One of the cool things was I saw a nautilus for the first time, and I'd never seen a nautilus. So do you know a nautilus, if you're not aware, is the kind of cephalopod, which is the kind of shell where it's like peeking out of the shell and it's all tentacly, but they're fucking huge. I thought they were like a couple of centimeters. They're like as big as your fucking head. They're massive. Okay. Yes.
Excellent.
I was like, whoa. But they also had a lot of different cuttlefish. So one of the reasons I have a particular love for cuttlefish is they do this kind of they have I should have looked up like technical terms, but they the way they camouflage themselves is obviously they can change, like most cephalopods, they can change the color and texture of their skin, which is really cool. So you can actually become spiky and or smooth out, like their skin
so cool.
can move as well. Yeah,
That's
and the
awesome.
way I know, and the way that they catch their prey is they basically spread out and like strobe so that everyone so it like mesmerizes the prey and then they can catch it, but they literally like strobe out like all the different colors and stuff. It's very disco. Nautilus is at the Monterey Bay. Oh, is there?
Oh, Allison's posted a YouTube video.
I think there is a picture of one of the pictures I took of me next to a nautilus, which is.
That will go in the eventual package of TAF things. So if you're watching this not live, you can go and see a picture of a nautilus. He said confidently.
Yes, but one of the Andrews just handed me this is a sepia cuttlefish, which was one of my what's the word, souvenirs from the day. Is I got Andrew, I think I got Gavin to buy it for me because he needed to get me a birthday present, and I was like, this, and he was like, are you sure? My like 30-year-old older sister. I'm like, yes, get me the cuddly cuttlefish.
Yes, that is an excellent present. I like that a lot.
Exactly. But yes, so that's one of the things. The cuttlefish, they strobe out. My personal favourite cuttlefish is the flamboyant cuttlefish. And the reason that the flamboyant cuttlefish is my favourite is because they, instead of swimming around, they walk along the floor, the sea floor, with two of their tentacles, and they can't really swim very far, so they'll like swim a little bit and then fall because they're a bit too dumpy. And they are poisonous, not venomous, and so they're that kind of poisonous thing where they're
So Anna seems to have stopped on my end, so I'm just going to send her a quick text.
She has stopped here too. I'm just unmuting myself to tell you so.
Thank you. Okay, so Anna has let me know that she has lost internet. So I'm going to mute myself and go and refill my beer in this interim. And I will do stand up when I'm back to keep you all very engaged and entertained.
Hello, I will send you another link to a video, which is the flamboyant cuttlefish putting on a display. This is National Geographic.
Sounds lovely, Alison.
There we go. Yeah, might as well unmute people. I have unmuted Mark and Claire as well. Oh, Anna, you're back. Brilliant. I'm going to mute people again now in a kind of mutey way. Yeah. And John is not yet back. You are on mute, however, Anna. Oh, there you go.
Ah, yes.
Is your
Okay.
internet back again now?
Hog rebooted. Yeah, Hog rebooted. So all praise.
And I've sent people a video of a flashy cuttlefish. There you go. I will go away again.
So I had my headphones on. So when you say Hog
So you knew.
rebooted, like, did you like? Does he have a switch, or what does it look like when Hog is turned off and on again?
Yes, exactly.
It's funny, just wrote in the chat.
Anyway.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Which does pretty much sum it up. So you were just beginning to tell us about flamboyant cuttlefish, and you told us they were dumpy.
They are.
To hear more about flamboyant.
Oh, okay. I liked the full speech before I realised that you were frozen.
No, that's why I texted you, because I was like, I'm sure that Anna is still talking about cuttlefish. Like,
I am.
Which is shame.
Yes, so they are a bit dumpy, so they walk along the floor instead of swimming. And they are brightly coloured, so they are purple and yellow and red and very brightly coloured. Most other cuttlefish are kind of more neutral. In fact, the cuttlefish we showed you earlier is a sepia, so like the ink comes from sepia cuttlefish. Yeah. But these ones, they're obviously flamboyant, so they're brightly coloured and they're poisonous but not venomous, and it's very much that whole like, look, I'm brightly coloured and I'm scary. Stay away from me, please. Don't eat me. I'm a dumpy little cuttlefish. And potentially I relate really hard to the idea of like flashy colours and bright things and presenting this thing, but very much in a way of, please don't eat me. I'm I'm just a small little dumpy cuttlefish inside.
Excellent.
Yes, so flamboyant cuttlefish are my favourite, and Monterey Bay Aquarium has, I assume still has, but hopefully has a tank of flamboyant cuttlefish. And I had never actually seen him in person, because most common, there's the common cuttlefish, obviously the most common, or the giant cuttlefish is surprisingly common as well, other ones. The pajama squid is actually a cuttlefish. Anyway.
I didn't know there was a pajama squid.
There's a pajama squid. It's got like black and white lines on it. Northern hairy nose cuttlefish has a hairy nose. I have to see that. I don't know that one as well. I'll need to look him up.
Pajama squid.
Pajama squid.
Oh, they're so cute.
I know.
They really look like
it won't be a wombat jack. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I know. But yes, so one of the ways to tell a squid from a cuttlefish, because they look very similar, if it's a drawing, because size difference is hard, is the cuttlefish has the frill around the side of the head.
Because on that toy you were showing,
it has a skirt.
I wondered if, yeah.
And it goes.
Amazing.
Okay.
I need that to be my text message ringtone. I'm just going to take that little sound bite.
But yeah, so the flamboyant cuttlefish is like my freaking Patronus. So, oh no, God. Don't want to talk about. This is my my animal that I very much relate to.
Your Northern Lights demon.
Yeah.
I mean, still not great, but
I mean, I agree with more of but anyway, so it's definitely that kind of like, I have a real soft spot. This is the first time I got to see them in person, and I literally sat on the floor in front of the thing because it was perfect. Like I could sit, and then basically, because they all sit at the bottom of the tank, like it was perfect height to basically just watch them and like watch them eat and swim around and like their skin changing, and yeah, I enjoyed it very much. And Gavin, Joey and Chris were very patient with me. Because I'm pretty sure I stayed there for like, I'm pretty sure they were like, okay, we'll move on, and then they came back to get me.
That's like enjoying the hell out of something. That has to be a
Uh,
good thing, all right? Like
exactly.
that's getting your
It's
ticket price worth for sure.
definitely. So yeah, I really, really loved that, and it. I mean, I love aquariums anyway, so it was an amazing experience, and so nice to go with them because it was just so lovely and positive. And
Yeah.
yeah, and again, it was peak and Pokemon Go season, so there was lots of interesting fish Pokemon in the fish tank types, things like that, which was fun.
There is a photo of you and Gavin and Chris playing Pokemon Go. I mean, I assume you're playing Pokemon Go. You're staring
Yeah,
very intently at your phones, so
I
yeah, I
believe
was
that
going
is
to
exactly
ask.
what is happening.
Excellent. No, and it
Um,
looks, and I do love. So you mentioned your mermaid dress, and like for people who are watching live, they won't be able to see, but I will put a photo in the package when it's going out properly. But it's like a kind of turquoisey, tealy dress with like mermaids with little mermaids on it with pink hair that matches your pink hair. So it's
it's
a
true.
fantastic dress for your hair.
It is.
Really,
It
yeah, it's
worked
great.
very well.
I like it.
Yeah.
So I've looked through the photographs of San Francisco, and there are a number. So basically, I would say they're roughly 80% delicious-looking food and 20% books. Would you say that that is a fair characterization of your time in the Bay Area?
Yeah, that probably is actually. I hadn't realised it took so many pictures of books, but yeah, I think that's probably pretty accurate. I'm frantically scrolling through Facebook so I can see
There's
myself.
a photo of you at Borderlands,
Yeah,
which is, for those who haven't been to the Bay Area, is a fantastic independent bookshop.
it is.
In
It is a
San Francisco.
fantastic.
In San Francisco.
Yes. And so that was really fun. And so that I think was, well, whatever day that Joey Shoji took us out, which was really great. So he took me and Gavin out for the day, essentially just to kind of go to, I think the main thing was go to Borderlands and go to the Apple store to do some like more boring basic things.
No, I nerded out about this. Sorry, this is like going to be so weird, but I went through all of the photos and stuff on Facebook, and he mentions the Sonestown Apple store, which is like, so you were like a block from Espana's old house, and I yeah, because she lives on or she used to live just off the big street that goes down to Sonestown Mall is like 19th, I think, and she used to live on 25th, so she was like just a little stone's throw away. But yeah, so when you post that, I was like, I've been there. That's the sort of place you walk to from Espana's if you want to go for a 15-minute walk.
Nice. Yeah, so that was one of the things to help out Gavin. So basically, I was going to wait until later on in the year to upgrade my phone, but I was like, well, if I do it here, I can upgrade my phone, and then we can also transfer and Gavin's super old phone into my old phone, which was still like only one removed, because we have a lot of the hand-me-down system of iPhones in our family. It's very strong, so
Nice.
yeah, so we went there. So I was like, well, I'll get the new one now, and then it means he can get a newer phone as well.
That's cool.
But yeah, so we went to Borderlands, and I'm sure I got many books because that's what you do. We went to a really amazing brunch place as well. Trying to find
called Grub.
Grub, yes. So Joey is a bit of a foodie, which is why it was amazing to go around San Francisco with him, because every single place he was like, this is really good food. So It was really enjoyable. And then just spent the day going around San Francisco. So we did Borderlands, and I've just seen that we went to Good Vibrations, which is excellent, independent.
Kink shop and coffee.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd say kink. I suppose maybe my threshold for kink is low. I'm like, oh, that's pretty tame. I do feel a bit bad for saying like, I want to go here. Poor Gavin, my brother. Like, okay, I'll just stand over here and not. Feminist sex shop.
Spaniard says it's a feminist sex shop. Yeah.
I was thinking I'm pretty sure it was female ran. I think it's similar to Shush or Shh in London, which is the same. It's kind of feminist sex shop and very kind of sex and body positive. And so yeah, that was nice. Gavin just kind of stayed near the door.
I mean, that is the sort of thing that's difficult when you're going with a relative,
fair.
right?
100% fair. I mean, at this point, I've been away from home and Andrew for a while, okay? So, yes, we went there, and then
there's a photo of you. There's a photo of Joey and you with ice creams that are like, and the photo makes it look like it's the size of your head. But, like, I suspect that is a trick of perspective, but it looks amazing.
It was, like, this ridiculously good soft serve, but, like, properly, not homemade, I guess, but handmade soft serve ice cream, and it was so good. Then it was just really, really amazing. And then I remember I said to Joey that I really wanted, like, I probably said Mexican or just kind of basically the food that we don't like. We can get more Mexican here now, but we didn't really before, or like Mexican or Argentinian, or just kind of the I was going to say South American, but actually no, because I'm like, I didn't want Brazilian. That's too similar to Portuguese food. In a good way, but not what I wanted at the time. But so we went to this it was tiny, tiny little place. And I'm sure he's said in the Mission District, Regalato. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, no, it looks amazing. And the Mission District's amazing.
Good. I know. So just like the best.
I had my first Salvadorian food in the Mission District, and it was so good. And
I'm trying to remember. It might have been Salvadorian. There was this place I went. I think it was Argentinian. Like once I got taken to this tiny place somewhere in San Francisco, and it was amazing. Just, I mean, like I said, I love food, and I've had some really great food experiences in San Francisco. I think the first time I had bibimbap was Bay Area, and Chris Garcia took me.
Excellent. Chris is a good person to go to get food with. Like, did you spend any time with Chris while you were in the Bay Area?
This time I did not.
Okay.
I don't think I did. Oh no, I'm pretty sure I didn't at this point. Yeah.
I guess that was the year that his boys were born.
Yeah.
Possibly, so that might have made things quite difficult.
Yeah. But yeah, so I didn't see him on that trip. I must have seen him at the con, but I didn't see him while I was in Bay Area at that trip, because I think it kind of got quite full. And at previous times I'd visited, I'd gone to the museum and stuff, so it wasn't something that I needed to kind of do again.
That makes sense.
So yes. Oh, and we got more ice cream because we had another thing of ice cream.
Yes.
It was a really good day.
Yeah. I mean, I can't fault you.
It was basically really good food plus Borderlands plus a feminist sex shop.
Yeah.
And hanging out with Joey and Gavin. And it was just like...
And that That
really
area
nice.
around Borderlands is amazing because there's a great independent board game shop like right near there as well. There are great coffee shops, like it's a whole great thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love San Francisco generally, but that part in particular.
Yeah.
And then you went out with Kathy Marr and Cassandra. Cassandra Barker.
Yeah, her daughter. Yeah.
Yes, and you went to Golden Gate Park and Muir Woods and stuff. So, how was that?
Oh my god, I love Muir Woods.
So beautiful.
It's so beautiful, and it's one of those places that had like that whole, what's the word? It's not like a spiritual experience. That's not what I mean. It's that whole like just that amazing feeling of being in nature that I think can be quite hard to get in some places because once you get properly into it, you are away from everything, and it's quite overwhelming, but in a really amazing way. And it was really cool. Like I hadn't met Cass before, but again, it was one of those things you kind of meet someone and get on really well quite quickly.
Yeah.
And Kathy just stayed in the car, and that was really, really cool. So Muir Woods were another one of those amazing experiences.
Yeah. Now that was my experience with Muir Woods too. Like, just so beautiful. If people who are watching haven't been, I would highly recommend it because it is just astounding, and the scale. Because like obviously I've been to woods before, I may have been born in the city, but I've gotten out, I've lived. But no, they're just redwoods are really big. It sounds so basic, but it's like they're really big.
Well, it's that thing where it's like we kind of. You kind of don't realise the scale of something until you actually see it.
Yeah.
Even if you can maybe logically or mentally understand how big it is, you can't really understand it until you properly see it.
No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
What did you think of Golden Gate Park?
I really loved it. It was really nice. I think Kathy specifically took me to a couple of areas. So the like koi pond and the Japanese tea garden, which are featuring the October Day Roast Me and Rue series by Sean and Maguire.
Okay.
Which is a really excellent, in my opinion, urban fantasy series that I think have probably been reading since before it actually got published, but so that was a really lovely little connection there to actually see what inspired those parts of that story. There's a ridiculous bridge, I seem to remember, that is impossible to climb over, but of course I tried to climb over it. But it's practically vertical, it's so high. So yeah, that was fun if ambitious.
Well, ambition's good. Ambition is a good thing to have, right?
Yeah. So that was really nice. And there's a carousel as well there. Was that there? I think there was a carousel there. And we went on, it was the last ride of the day. So we went on me and Cass were yes, we'll go on the carousel. So we went on that. Which was really nice just because it was I don't know. I thought it was just really, it's one of those kind of big old-fashioned carousels kind of thing. We don't really see as much over here anymore because they're so big. So that was kind of cute and fun.
No, I have found on Wikipedia that there is indeed a carousel in Golden Gate Park, which I did not know. But I would now I have seen it. I really want to go on it. So next time I'm in the Bay Area, I'm going to have to visit.
So yeah, it was really nice.
Yay! And so I should tell people that if they want to post questions, to feel free to put them in the chat, because it is getting to that time. But
yes, I think this is basically near the end of the last day.
Okay. So, and I assume you went from San Francisco like directly to Kansas City?
No, I went to Las Vegas.
Oh shoot! Of course you did. Duh. Because there's one more in between now and Worldcon. I'm going to give you my TAF trip because this is what I did on mine. No, okay, fair enough.
I think I was literally there for like 2 nights or something. It was like such a short trip, but so much. But yeah,
that's
I went
mad.
to San Francisco.
I hadn't fully appreciated that, but yeah, looking at the dates on the photos, that must be right. But I hadn't put that together.
Like I literally arrived, we did stuff that day. I had a full day there, and then the next day, like left that day. It was a very much a whirlwind trip, but it was superly. It was super fun and just a really whirlwind experience. So yeah, that's good.
So the last photo I have of you in San Francisco is you eating cake at Hoagie's.
Yes, the oh god, what's it called? Yes,
the Spaniel, no.
The coffee cake that they have there.
Yeah, yes, that sounds right. It's really good. I remember we had a slice of that cake before we went to the Computer History Museum. Where Chris Garcia used to work for the first time.
Huge.
It's
so basically,
massive.
Yeah, Joey took me.
That really
Joey
is the size
took me
of
to the airport. Yeah, Joey took me to the airport, and he was like, "We're gonna go here for breakfast first." And coffee crumble cake. Yeah. Oh, so good. I think they also have is it there or somewhere else? They have like a carrot cake, which is insane. That might actually be in Kansas City. Maybe I'm conflating my cakes.
That's fair. That's the name of a fanzine.
Yes. But yeah, oh my god. So that was like a really good way to end the day, or end my trip, because it was in the morning, was having a ridiculous slice of cake for breakfast. Oh, so good.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So food and books and cuttlefish.
There's like that's the whole package. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You don't need anything other than that. So
I don't.
That's fair. Never. So we
trip report right there. Food, books, and cuttlefish. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to type that in the chat so I don't forget. So my experiences of cakes in the Bay Area have been many and varied, but I do remember the time that Chris Garcia told me he knew a great donut place and we would get donuts for breakfast. And he drove to the donuts place and it had shut down. And like, another great donut place. We will get donuts for breakfast. Drove to the second donut place and he misremembered where it was.
Oh no!
And it was like on about the 4th donut place that we eventually acquired a donut. But Chris's enthusiasm was undiminished throughout. So that is. That's him to a T.
No, the donut trip report is for Dublin. Worldcon last year.
Yes, the donut trip report is Dublin.
Last year. Who knew that there were so many artisan donut places in Dublin? Anyway.
No, that is fair.
Are there any questions? I have not looked at the chat this time.
Don't think there are many. Alison asked a question, but I believe it was a joke.
Oh yes, it was that we didn't get.
And I refuse to air it in the report because
neither of us got it.
Yeah, like. Well, also because I'm jealous of it. Like it's above my humour, so therefore I must curtail it.
Like that.
Was there anything you wanted to do in San Francisco that you didn't get the chance to, or anything that like you found out later and went to do like on a future trip, or not really?
I don't think so. It's a place I definitely want to. I haven't been back since. I don't think I've been to the US since at all. So it's somewhere that I'd like to go again. But I don't think there was anything. I definitely didn't leave feeling like, oh, I'd really wish I'd done that one thing. I mean, maybe having a little bit more time, so it wasn't as packed. But like, even being packed, I had so much fun while I was there.
Yeah.
And it just was just a joy from beginning to end, I think. And a lot of that was the people. And yeah, so I think that I definitely don't have any regret. I mean, I don't think I have any, other than we've already talked to some of the stuff in like New York. But otherwise, I don't think there are any places that I visited that I have any kind of substantial regrets or anything, but especially San Francisco. I really just had a great time and had amazing food, and had this like polenta and like garlicky, cheesy, mushroomy polenta, and I'd never had polenta like that before, and it was like insane. It was so good. Yeah, nice. So I had like ridiculously good food. I was very happy.
Yay!
And I saw my brother. And Cuttlefish.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, it being the third destination on your trip helped with that kind of pace? Like, do you think you wouldn't have been able to do that? Yeah.
Fourth destination. I think that if I hadn't had that, like, day off in Seattle, I think I might have found it more difficult to, like, keep up. But somehow kind of having that, I felt a bit more of a renewed enthusiasm, I guess. And also, like, again, I think it helps, like, Joey is really cheerful, enthusiastic, and Chris and John are really, like, happy and enthusiastic, and, like, so it kind of everything. When I'd be like, oh, I really want to do this, somebody would go like, yeah, let's do it. And so that, like, it kind of helped with that. And obviously there was nothing at any of the other places that somebody was like, no, we're not doing that. But that was one of the few places where I was like, I would like to do these things. And I got to kind of really got to enjoy that.
Jerry asks, like, what books, and he asks in San Francisco specifically, but like, what books did you get on your trip report? And are there any that in your trip report? What books did you get on your trip? And are there any that stand out?
Oh gosh, now I'm gonna have to remember.
I must admit, when I wrote my report, I was like, I bought this book and this book and this book, and I'm like, I love all those books. I remember that I bought those books. I did not remember that they were on my trip at all. So I think it can.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to have a look. I think one of the things, and I don't know specifically if it was at Borderlands or actually at the convention, but I'm sure once we get to the con, one of the things I'll talk about is how much I love Tamora Pierce's work. And up until recently, she had no longer been published in the UK. So one of the things that was really amazing was I actually managed to get quite a few books which just are no longer published in the UK or in Europe, specifically by Tamora Pierce, including like really recent ones, which was really amazing. And Borderlands. I think I managed to get a copy of, God, I'm going to have to remember the title. One of the, I think it was one of Shannon's books actually, which was kind of more of a limited run, and kind of harder to get a hold of, and I managed to find one there. I will find out the title and we can put it in the like written version of this, but that was particularly nice. I think part of it was just picking up things that seemed interesting. I like discovering new authors. I can't I will have a
I
look. I will
honestly,
see. I'll remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love just walking around bookshops in the US, even like Barnes and Noble,
Same.
because you see stuff that you just don't see in the UK, and it's not necessarily that I'm going to buy anything. Oh, I do, but like I'm not.
Yeah.
That's not what excites me. It's just like, oh, this is different, and it's, you know, I might see stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And there are authors where it's harder to get in the UK. I don't know whether you will have ever experienced. Did you ever go to Murder One?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, so in London there used to be a bookshop which was it was basically 3 bookshops in one, which was one of the names were Murder One, but it actually had all 3 names except everyone called it Murder One because it was the biggest name. And hopefully other people will know what I'm talking about. But they had basically they're a specialist genre bookshop, and they had crime, romance, and science fiction.
Yeah.
But it meant that they had imports from the US, and the science fiction was in the basement. And so we used to go, and it was on Charing Cross Road.
Yeah.
So you used to go with my dad and we'd do a tour. So you'd go to Murder One, go down to the basement, and there would be so many books. And we would just buy like a bag full of books for him and for us, and so many, and books you just literally couldn't find. It's so good, exactly. And we'd still hit like the Waterstones that used to be on there, and and stuff. And
Forbidden Planet.
but other ones, yeah. So you go to Forbidden Planet, you go to Murder One, you go to Waterstones, you go to. There were like 3 comic shops. I think the only one that's still in the area is Orbital, although it's moved.
Yeah.
The other 2, unfortunately, but basically you just do, there's like a nerd circle you could do, and we would always go there, and it was just this kind of like you would find, because there was a lot of like pulpy paperback type things, and you didn't always find the same stuff in Forbidden Planet at the time. I think now you can find a few more of those imports. That's pretty much the best place to find them in that area, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, so there's that kind of like. Sorry, go on.
No, like even if you can get at what you want at Waterstones or even Forbidden Planet, it's really nice to go to somewhere that's a bit more indie, right? Like I've always loved that kind of bookstore. Exactly.
I remember after however many years it moved across the road, but it changed to only being crime and romance, and then it died, which was very sad.
Shouldn't have abandoned the science fiction, clearly.
Well, I'm assuming that wasn't selling as well, which is a shame.
Yeah,
but
that is a shame.
Yeah, I mean that's very much like formative experience before we even started to go to cons when I was a teenager. So
yeah, so that's actually something I meant to ask you, and I guess I don't know whether it fits better later. But like, I met your brother at a convention. So did your brother go to Worldcon or?
No.
Okay.
So he would go to conventions because the rest of us would go, or because his mum was going. And he used to go to EasterCon. He kind of, at the time, had a friendship group who would go to EasterCon. But yeah, so we did I buy anything nerdy in the Bay Area? Well, I don't think it's appropriate to talk about what I bought at Good Vibrations.
I mean, you can if you like. That is entirely up to you.
I don't think it was very nerdy. I'm sure there was something that like looked like a rocket, but I did not go for that one.
I just heard Fanny laughing, and she's at literally the opposite end of the house. So
excellent. I'm very good. Now I want to know. We'll talk about it after, okay? I mean, genuinely, if somebody desperately wants a recommendation, then I'm sure I can give one. But what were we talking about? No, I don't think so. I mean, I got an iPhone. It's pretty nerdy. Not anymore. And I got some books, and I got a Cuttlefish. Yeah, I don't think I got many clothes, and I think mostly that was because I didn't really have space. I packed very compact, but also just didn't really have time to go shopping for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah.
The days I got to go shopping were like kind of me days where I was like, I'm just going to be on my own. But like, you don't, going shopping with other people could be a bit fraught. Not fraught's the wrong word, but like, you don't want them to feel like, you feel like you've got to be aware of their time. And if you want to just properly go around stores and like nerd out, that can be difficult.
Yeah, exactly. I think somewhere I did actually go clothes shopping in San Francisco, even though I was only there for like 5 minutes. So there is that. I got my dress that I wore for the Hugos there, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is a great dress.
I know, it's amazing.
I think when we get to that, I'm going to have to like share my screen so that people in the live can see it, because it is a hell of a dress.
An amazing dress. Yeah, I kind of it was an amazing find, and it was on sale, so it was like meant to be.
Nice.
So yeah.
Excellent stuff.
Can't think of anything else, but no, I didn't buy anything else nerdy.
Yes, fair enough. I should note before we officially sign off, Espana reminded me that the kinky coffee shop is Wicked Grounds, not Good Vibrations. I got them muddled.
I mean, if anyone wants to go to a kinky coffee shop in London, I actually am not sure how it's doing since it was independent. There used to be a coffee shop called Coffee Cake and Kink, and then rebranded to Coffee Cake and Kisses. This is still an excellent place if it is still managed to stay around, and it is near Warren Street Station on behind Euston Road. So there you go.
Excellent.
My recommendation for kink-friendly coffee shops.
You'll have to look it up. Thank you for the rec.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you very much for talking to me, Anna. And I think that probably wraps up episode 4.
Yes.
So we can let people loose and stop recording.
Woo!